Hey, this is Bob Nalbandian
and Matt Hartnett
from the Shockwave Skull Sessions podcast.
You can subscribe and download all episodes of the Shockwave Skull Sessions podcast via the CMS Podcast Network at cmspn.com or any of your favorite podcast directories, including Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, and more. And while you're at it, be sure to rate and comment about the podcast and spread the word.
And if you'd like to donate to the podcast, go to our PayPal account at shockwaveskullsessions@gmail.com. Thanks for all your support of the Shockwave Skull Sessions podcast over the years, and stay tuned for more great episodes every week.
Hi, this is Terry Glaze, and you're listening to Drag the Waters
with Joshua.
A couple nights ago, and we made our first trip out to Mississippi to go play a 2-day metal fest out there, and everything went good. It was a little nerve-wracking, just being our first show back and getting our feet wet, back in the live show business again with the whole COVID and everything being coming to a standstill. But overall, it was a very successful show. There probably was like 100+ people, and everybody was into it. It was a good vibe. Not too many people in masks, which was a little, especially coming from Texas, everybody's in masks here, so that was a little different for me. But I tried to stay masked up, pretty much the whole time, and just kind of just keep to myself a little bit and just hang out the merch. And the show went good. We did like a 45-minute set, and everybody was really into it. And overall, it was a successful show. Hopefully, it'll be little by little. Hopefully, we can start jamming again here in Texas and whatnot. But for being for the pandemic and whatnot, it was a great time. Good people, good food, and good metal again. And it was really good to be able to even from where I was at, like kind of back of the club for the most part. It was just good to hear some live metal again. Honestly, man, just to hear some distortion and hearing some screaming. It was just really good just to hear some music again under good circumstances. Everybody just trying to do their thing and whatnot. So overall, it was a good experience, I will say.
Yeah. Speaking of the last shows and not seeing people, I mean, a lot of people's last shows are the Slayer tour. I did see one show after that. We did go see Mr. Bungle in San Francisco, but before that, I think my last show was, you guys and Ministry and Slayer.
I think I remember running into you too, if I'm not mistaken, maybe at either Louder Than Life or
Louder Than Life.
I think I remember seeing you backstage at one of the festivals there too. Yeah, but that was a little bit earlier. But the Slayer tour was the last real big one for the Illegals. We did a one-off in March of actually 2020, and that was our last gig. But like our last good successful run was definitely the big Slayer tour, man. And it's just so weird. During that time, nobody in the world knew what was about to happen. It was everybody was still living in the moment and enjoying live music and just doing their thing. Nobody knew, within a matter of a few moments, it seemed like that everything just came to like a screeching halt, so I really look back on that Slayer tour, especially, and I'm just very thankful to have been there for that process and that tour and that moment in time, because it seems like, who knows when it'll ever be that genuine again. You know what I mean? That intimate and everybody just living in the moment before the masks and everything. So it was definitely a very positive way to go out on a very high note like that. So pretty amazing experience for sure.
Yeah, I love seeing all the memes of like Slayer breaks up and then the world goes to shit. That's the that's what happened, right?
That's exactly what happened. It's like Slayer called it a day, and so did music, man. It was like, or so did everything. Slayer is done, and so are we. It seemed like, man, but I'm definitely missing Slayer more than ever, and I've been very fortunate to keep in contact with most of the guys in the band, and just to kind of stay in touch throughout the year, and just say hello and whatnot. So it's been cool to become friends with everybody, and but I definitely miss the music, and I'm definitely missing some Slayer, man.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure we all are,
Yeah, I love seeing some of the photos you post from that time of things like, Carrie, I think, is like standing there watching you play guitar. That's just, I mean, obviously being in a band with Phil is one thing, but actually playing for Carrie's another,
Oh man, that was definitely a nerve-wracking experience. I could take it all the way back to Hellfest of 2019, and the Illegals were getting ready to do a full Pantera set. I think we did a couple of Illegal songs, but we did pretty much a full Pantera set there at Hellfest. And I remember 2 minutes before we went on stage, like Carrie just genuinely walking right to my side before we even hit, didn't say nothing, just walked on the stage and went and got a spot. And I'm telling you, we were already getting nervous, but when you see Carrie King, getting ready to watch the show, it just pretty much makes you want to play as best you can, because he's one of the metal gods. It's just he was one of Dimebag. He was one of Dime's best friends. So he's definitely looking and wanting to to hear all the right squeals and everything. So and then having him pretty much every single night of the tour. Carrie and Gary and Tom and even Primus guys, they were all watching us jam every night. So it was definitely us wanting to play our best, and that's what we wanted to do anyways. Doing the Pantera songs was just play our best and just have as much fun as we could, and still be as serious as possible, So. But having the King there watching you is definitely fun.
Did Carrie or any of the guys come up to you at any point and be like, "Hey, man, you're doing these songs justice. Your Dime would have approved," kind of thing? Anything like that for you?
Yeah, totally. A lot of good positive feedback and vibes. And honestly, I'll take it back to the first time Philip and I and the band, we were all talking about doing the Pantera sets and learning full sets of songs rather than just a block of a few songs. Learning, I just remember being like just super nervous. Being, that's a lot of weight to put on anybody's shoulders, is going and learning, Dime stuff, and you want to play it to the best of your ability. And I remember when we first started talking, Philip was like, he just set me down aside and he was just like, "Mike, not even Zakk Wylde can play Dimebag the way Dimebag played his music. Everybody puts their own spin on it." He said, "So you go do that, play the best you can, but put your own spin on it." He said, "We're not Pantera. This is the Illegals." He said, "So just have fun with it and just play your best and put your own spin on it." And once Philip told me that, because he played with Dime and all,
right.
It just really like set a relief to me that I don't have to be, on the money, not that I didn't want to be, but I didn't have to, play
note for
Dime,
note.
That's Dime's parts. I just went in and I tried to hit all the right notes and just, still put that feel and that love into those solos the best I could do. And that's what I've been doing. And, just getting the approval from some of metal's greats has just been, a total blessing. I remember when I ran into Rob Halford at a Judas Priest show, and I was so nervous because I was gigantic Rob Halford and Priest and Fight and Halford. I'm just a big fan of all his music. And one of the first things Rob Halford told me was, it was that the night that I met him, the night before, he said he was on his phone watching YouTube videos of the Illegals playing Pantera stuff. And he was like, how ironic. He was like, "I was just watching you guys on my phone last night on YouTube in South America playing the song." So it was just really, really cool just to hear it from the metal god saying, "Hey, you guys are doing good. Keep it up," and everyone else along the lines. It's just been definitely a positive reaction and a feedback. And like I said, for the Illegals, we're just trying to bring back the old vibe. Let's have fun, let's party, let's enjoy the music, let's have fun with our fans, and still be as serious as possible. Trying to hit those notes and walk in the walk solo and everything.
Right.
It's still. Yeah, it's still some pressure there, but we're just trying to have fun with it.
What I liked about kind of similar to what you said was when Gary Holt took over for Jeff and Slayer. He was like, I'm not going to play this note for note. Jeff played like Jeff, I play like Gary, and I think it helped Gary out a lot to just kind of like play those Slayer songs how he would play them, and not necessarily note for note like Jeff would have played them.
That's honestly, you're the first person to ever bring something up like that. But that is an awesome point, because watching Gary play every night of tour, I was watching Slayer. So he does Gary. He goes up there and does Gary on for Jeff's part, and he does an amazing job. But just like you're saying, he's doing Gary's solos, and he's hitting all the right notes and all the parts.
Yeah.
But he's doing it Gary style. So that's definitely a really good comparison of what we're trying to do as well. We're just trying to go up and just do the best we can and bring our touch to it.
Well, let's kind of go all the way back with you. Obviously being down in Texas, I believe. When did you find out, or when did you discover Pantera as a kid?
Oh man, this is a great question. Make me put some thought into this one. That's good. Rattling my brain on this Sunday morning. That's great.
I figure in Texas, I figure you.
Like around...
I figure in Texas, when you're born, they just hand you, like vulgar display of power.
They're like, here's you're now a cowboy from hell.
Right.
Jam this, right?
Yeah.
Jam this. But I think I remember jamming Pantera for the first time, probably like around 5th or 6th grade, like right around then. Because before that, I was really into Van Halen and Aerosmith and just bands like that. But then came along Beavis and Butthead, and they just launched a platform of all sorts of good bands. And I remember watching them watch the This Love video and being like, just hearing Pantera for the first time as a younger kid, and just Morbid Angel and all the bands that they were, Crowbar,
Crowbar,
all the cool bands, and then just a little bit later on in life, really getting into the Metallica and Pantera, probably about 6th or 7th grade now, and then just running with it from there. Slayer, and just getting into all the bands. But probably around 6th or 7th grade, Pantera really became a staple in my life. And I remember being like a sophomore in high school and like standing in front of my long mirror in my room and like blasting Pantera, Vulgar Display of Power, and just like air guitaring with my shirt off, trying to beat Dimebag, just like acting like you're Dimebag, just
right.
Looking in the mirror while you're listening to Pantera, So, and then you fast forward to a little bit later, like my senior year, and being in the nosebleeds way up, and watching Pantera and the Black Sabbath tour in like 99.
Yeah.
And, being with my little brother and my dad, and Pantera opening up with Domination. And I'm telling you, I'm just a kid way up in the rafters, and just telling myself, man, I would love to be down there one day. I would love to. I remember saying that I would love to be down there jamming. I wish I could be on that stage. So never in a million years had you told me in that moment back when I was a kid that one day, we would be doing that. I would not have believed you whatsoever. But it's just crazy how everything turned out, and now we're trying to pay tribute to the man, as best we can, man. So definitely a big responsibility, and it's just been a big honor to go up and jam the Pantera legacy.
So how do you eventually meet Phil and get into the Illegals?
All right, that's a good question. I used to be in a band with a guy named Billy Milano, who was from a band called SOD, right. And I was in his band MOD, and we used to do the half sets too, MOD, half SOD, and that was a blast because it was all like crossover '80s thrash songs. So it was a blast to play those really heavy tunes. Well, we were in Germany on a festival run, and we were playing a show with the Illegals, and it was the original Illegals lineup. And I kind of had met Blue already a few times because he's a Texas guy as well. But I remember I had never met Steve, the other guitar player. I had never met him before. And that specific day, me and Steve, we were in the dressing room and we smoked a joint and just kind of like caught up. We were both Texas dudes, and we just kind of caught up. And I remember Philip walking into the room, and I had met him before, but it was like when I was a kid at a Super Joint show, just like as a fan.
Right.
Never really got to like say hello. My name's Mike. So that was my first like real time getting to meet Philip. We were in Germany of all places, and it was just I met him. We took a photo. I introduced myself. It wasn't really anything. And a few minutes later, I remember MOD was sound checking that day, and I was playing some like death metal riffs because I'm just like death metal background. And Steve, Blue, and I believe also Marzi were there watching us like just warm up. And I guess they were at the time kind of just looking for a new guy. They were kind of just going in more of a death metal direction. And then I guess a few months from then, like about 3 months down the road, I was working at a fast food spot here in San Marcos, flipping pizzas, man. And I remember I got the phone call from Steve, and he was like, "Hey, bro, we're looking for a new guitar player in the Illegals with Philip, and would you be interested in jamming?" And I remember like I put the phone down, and I was just like, "What the fuck?" Just like tripping out, flipping, just tripping. And I put the phone. I was like, "Yeah, man, trying to be as cool as possible. I would, definitely love to come jam with you, with the Illegals. I'm definitely interested." And at that moment in time, I was also really busy with MOD. We were in the process of writing our brand new album and getting ready to go record. So it was kind of like, okay, I got this really big thing, but now I just got this really big thing, So I was kind of at a crossroads. Well, a bunch of stuff happened. Months went by. Nothing really kind of came of it. And then MOD broke up out of nowhere. We had some issues, and Billy broke up the band. A few days went by, and I hit up Blue and was telling Blue, "Hey, man, I'm no longer in a band, and I have a bunch of free time. I'm kind of bumming about everything. Are you guys still looking for anybody to jam with?" And he sent me an email back, and he pretty much just said, "You need to talk to Philip." So he sent Philip. He gave me his email address, and I sent Philip, a gigantic long email just telling him, "Hey, man, I'm Mike. I met you in Germany. I'm looking for a band to jam out with. I was with MOD." And the next day, I get an email back from Philip, and it was a really long email as well, just saying, "Hey, we are still looking for somebody, and keep your chops up. We'll give you a call soon." And then a week went by, not knowing when that call was going to come. A week went by, and it was a Wednesday night, and Blue called, and he said, "Hey, man, all of Superjoint is here at the Lair. We're getting ready to practice for a tour coming up, and would you be interested in coming down tomorrow and jamming with the Illegals?" And it was the middle of the week. I still had work. I called my boss and was like, "Boss, I need the rest of the week off. I gotta go to Louisiana." I was like, "I got this big opportunity, and I really would love to go and jam with these dudes." And from that moment on, it's just been, when I got down there and just felt the love and the vibe, being at Philip's home and the Lair, and it was just a very incredible 2.5 days. And in those 2.5 days, I learned 5 brand new Illegal songs that were on the last album. It was just a eye-opening experience, and ever since then, we've just been a band, a very cohesive unit of just brothers and just that want to jam. So it's been a few years. 2015 was the first time Germany, and ever since then, it's been an awesome ride, and no sign of stopping anytime soon, man. We're all vibing, and we're ready to start working on this new album once we can all get together, here soon.
So as a fan, as a kid that went to see them as a kid, go see them live and things like that. Did you, when you go to Philip's house, are you kind of like, looking for the gold records and platinum records and, sneaking in a Pantera story here and there? How are you treating that? Are you trying to be as cool as possible?
Definitely trying to be as cool as possible, but at the same time, I was a fan. I was a fan of Pantera. So I remember when I first got there, it was like 2:30 in the morning. So everybody was wide asleep, and Blue helped me in. And I remember I went to my room and, I must have stayed up for another hour, 2 hours by myself in this room, just staring at the walls of just like all the cool stuff on the walls. And then I remember getting to the bed, and it's just cool because the bed I laid in that night had the Simpsons, Simpsons pillow, a Simpsons blanket.
Okay.
It was it was just so cool. I was like, this is the coolest. It was just, I felt, like just home, and it's been home ever since. But yes, on the walls, I was definitely, just looking at all the gold records from Pantera and all the, just the movie posters and just all the cool stuff that, Philip has there, and just try to be as chill as possible. I remember the first time I saw Philip that next day, it must have been like 10 or 11 in the morning, and I was standing there in this hallway, and I just felt this presence like behind me, just this presence standing. I had no idea it was him, but I just felt this somebody behind me, and I turn around and I look up, and it's Phil Anselmo, and he's in his like his robe that he likes to wear, his robe.
Yeah.
He was just like, "Hey, man," just super cool, and it was just, he gave me the rundown. He said, "My casa, your casa," and just welcoming, very welcoming, and I was just this new guy there, and it was just everybody was real cool, and I got to watch Super Joint Jam, and then we jammed, and it's been an awesome time, man. Even going into it real quick, I remember learning the whole Illegals album. That first album, I learned it all because I thought it was an audition. But when we got there in our very first jam, Philip wanted to start learning new songs right off the bat. Nothing I knew. So it was just like, whoa, I was ready, prepared for this other thing, not for what we were getting into. But it was just like, we jumped head on in, and it was just awesome. It was a ripping time. Very cool.
So from that point on, you do the Choosing Mental Illness as a Virtue album, get that out there, start touring it. And then at what point does he kind of go, hey, maybe we should be doing some Pantera songs? And what was your kind of response to that? Were you looking forward to doing something like that? Or was that something that, you wanted to focus on the new band kind of thing?
Okay. That honestly came because, and it's really bummer to even say this because, it was because of Vinnie Paul passing away.
Yeah.
Once Vinnie Paul had passed in June of, I believe, 2018 or 2017, one of those, I remember it was June, and we were on tour a little bit later, maybe it was 2018, we were on tour that year, and I remember just having a discussion about it, and Philip was like, it's time. We just felt like it was time he knew it was time to pay tribute, to go and do these full sets in honor and legacy to Dimebag and to Vinnie Paul. And every single time we do it, he always mentions that before we start, that it's always for Dimebag and Vinnie. So honestly, that would be the reasoning behind us doing that, was just for him to be able to say thank you, to live on the songs for the fans. And he always says these songs are not his songs; these are the fan songs. These are songs that the fans want to hear. If you're a Pantera fan, you still want to hear, Floods. You still want to hear, Drag the Waters. You still want to hear all the heavy tunes. So Philip always says these songs are for the fans, man. So that was pretty much the main reasoning we started doing the full sets, was just to pay tribute and to say thank you to all the fans for all the years. And hopefully in the years to come, we can still continue to do that, and try to somewhat learn more songs that we haven't played yet, learn different songs so we can mix up the set even more so and play some really cool B-sides that Pantera maybe never got to play that often. So, we're just doing it for the love of the music and for the fans and for the Pantera legacy. And that's what it's there for. It's just to say thank you to everyone, and especially to Dime and to Vinnie Paul, man. So that was the main reasoning behind everything.
Was this something that when he came to you, had you guys ever just jammed a Pantera song in like rehearsal? As you're like, hey, Phil, check this out. We learned a new level or something, or just jam, like you start playing a riff and everybody jumps in and he jumps on the mic. Or was when you guys decided to do the Pantera set was kind of the first time you guys actually played Pantera with Phil?
Okay, well, leading up to a few tours that we had done a couple of Pantera songs. Like in the set, we would do like Death Rattlesnake from the very last album. We would do Hellbound from the last album. Maybe like a Domination breakdown, but that was pretty much just about it. We weren't doing anything else at all. Yeah. Just a song or two, maybe 3 songs total, and that was pretty much it. So we were doing some stuff, but definitely nothing full throttle sets or anything. That definitely came up much later. And then when that did come up, I remember, I'll always say, we sat at the back of the bus, all the illegals. We sat at the back of the tour bus. We're driving down the highway. We're on my cell phone, and Philip is literally going through my phone on the Pantera albums. It's such a trip to hear Philip Anselmo of Pantera, and he's going back and listening to every song on every album. And he's like, okay, we can do this. All right, we can try this. And it's just really cool because he was hearing songs for the first time again. He probably hadn't really heard in a long time. And you could see his reaction too. He was genuinely like, into the music. He was like, wow, these are, I hadn't heard this in a long time, stuff like that. So it was just really cool to like I specifically love the Pantera song, The Sleep from the first album. And I remember like telling Philip, this is such a special song to me personally. It reminds me of a certain time in my life, and I really like this song. And then playing it for Philip and just seeing him listen to The Sleep and just like sitting back and like thinking 30 years ago when he was a kid, writing all those lyrics and writing and singing all that. It's just a really cool thing to see, to be right there and hear and to see him figure out what he wants to do, and figure out what songs that we want to move forward with and what songs we want to learn, and making a list of songs we could probably do. And then, him walking away and us looking at that list and being like, whoa, we have a lot on our plate here. We have to, get down and start tracking this stuff. And then I'll take it to us learning the Pantera songs. That was a whole other process. It was like we put the illegals on hold. We didn't really jam any death metal or any grind or anything that we were doing that we normally would do with the illegals. And I absolutely love that music. But now we were entering, honestly, in our minds, another part where now we're moving from the illegals into Pantera. And we like to call it the P band. Anytime we in the band, we're always like, it's time for the P band set. So that means it's time to get rolling. And just learning all that, like I said, the pressure was definitely on. And I remember all 4 of us in the illegals, especially the guitar players, we were always sending each other YouTube links of different guys learning songs. We'd be like, hey, check out this guy trying to learn it this way. Oh, I found the guy covering it this way. Check out this guy. And oh, I got the guitar tabs from this website. So it was just like we were really, really putting our mind into really trying to learn these songs as best as we can. So, it was, us guys, we just wanted to play them as best we could. So we definitely put some effort into it, I should say, into trying to learn these songs. Even growing up a Texas guy, I knew a New Level riff, and I knew a Mouthful Roar riff, but did I play it right? I don't remember. But now we learned it. We're trying to replicate it, and we're just trying to bring the illegal touch to it, man. So it's definitely been a process, and it's been a lot of fun having to dwell our minds into the Pantera madness, because they had their own style. So it was a really cool way of just like kind of gearing in and seeing what those guys were really up to. Even real quick, the tuning
tuning's
that
weird.
Dime is in some songs. Yeah, weird, man. Weird tunings. We're like, whoa, this is not right on the money. He was off a little bit on some things. So it was really cool to try to really get down and learn what the magic behind what they were up to.
Yeah, talking about that, it's funny. I went back and a couple of years ago, I've played bass my whole life, and a couple of years ago, I went and actually sat down with YouTube and learned a bunch of Megadeth songs. And I'm like, where was this when I was a kid? You know, I had tab books and, you know, play by ear and all this other stuff. And now kids these days or whatever have, you know, YouTube showing you the hand placement and things like that. It's nuts, man, what you can learn online.
It totally is. And like, I wish I had all that. I had, you know, we had Guitar World magazines.
Yeah, right.
So we were going through the magazines trying to figure out what song we would want to learn for that month, you know, and going the old school way. It would have been great. I honestly had a guitar teacher for about 6 or 7 months when I was 11 or 12. I had a guitar teacher, and my friend Dan, he still lives here in town, and he's an absolute shredder on the guitar. And he taught a lot of the local guys here, a lot of my friends here in the San Marcos area. So I took lessons for a little bit, and it was great to be able to say that, because he showed me a few things, you know, as a kid that I definitely didn't know. So it was real cool. And then also real quick with the Pantera stuff, when we were learning stuff and doing stuff, Philip would even would walk in the room and be like, "That's wrong. Try the note before that." And that would just be him by his ear.
Right.
He would know that was not the right note. He'd be like, "Dime was hitting a different note, Mike. That's not the right note," you know? And that was a real cool way of learning too. For all of us, we'd be like, "Whoa, it's not 5, it's 4. Let's
Right.
move down a note," or, you know, something like that. And that would be straight up Philip on his own and his ear, just knowing the songs that well, man. So that was a cool way of learning too, just by the ear like that. Phil's ear.
So how many moments have you had on stage where you're in the middle of a Dimebag solo, or, you know, your interpretation of a Dimebag solo, and just like kind of thinking to yourself, like, how did I get here? You know, like looking at Phil and you're playing a lead and there's a giant crowd and all that.
Man, that happens all the time. That happens, you know. Even before a set, just being every show before the set, we have a huddle, just like a football team. We all put our hands in the middle. Philip gives us a speech, and off we go. Illegals, off we go. And just in that moment alone, I sit back and think to myself, man, you know, Phil's right here. I still got to play the best I can. This is the man right here. This is my boss. I always say it's the boss, and you want to do good for your boss, you know. So I always, you know, I trip out. But then when we're like, especially this happens, I will say during the domination solo, when you're hitting that, when you're going off on that part,
Yeah.
that I always trip out on, because it's like I'm playing that certain spot. It's live. There could be 20, 30,000 people. You know, you look out there, and it's just like it's just a trip. It's a mind trip, and it really is. It's just a trip to be able to be doing that, you know, with Philip and whatnot. And you know, I always tell everybody, myself, I'm just praising Dime in the best way that I can, and I would hope he'd be happy and be like, you know, I never got to meet him. I met the rest of the guys but Dimebag. So I would really hope he'd be like, Mike, you know, thumbs up, man. You know, thank you for, you know, for jamming, man. Thank you for jamming, because these fans need to hear, the new fans, the old fans, they all want to hear this music. So, you know, and then Kerry King even, you know, giving me, you know, props and just, you know, just saying, you know, you guys are doing good. Different, you know, Scotty and saying you guys are doing good, you know, it's a trip, but we know it just, we know that getting that, approval from those guys, we just know we're doing something right. I'll say that we're doing something right, and that's a good thing. And but it definitely is a trip for us. When in South America, we're out there and those crowds are singing the songs louder than we're playing. Trust me, I'm just like, we're all 5 of us in that band. We're just like, whoa, this is crazy. This is awesome and special. So it's cool, man. And then other little moments, like, and when we were in Europe and Max Cavalera, who I'm telling you, I grew up jamming Sepultura all my life. Soulfly, I was just always a big fan. So when he came out and did Walk, and I look over and it was Max and Philip, together, and we're playing Walk. It's just it's a trip. It's a real trip, and it's just really cool to see and to experience it all and to be there for 1,000% thank yous to all that, the metal, to everybody, and it's just a trip. It's awesome. It's very cool.
Yeah, I can imagine too, getting that call like, oh, and by the way, we're going to do the final Slayer tour, with Ministry and Primus. You're like, all right, well, let's do that too. It's crazy.
Exactly. When we got told that was a shock. It was like, what we're doing. Philip was giving us hints before we even got told that you guys are on it. I think he already knew about it, and he was just like, kind of like, hey, nudging, hey guys, we got something lining up, but he never was told us until we finally got the word. And then what put the icing on the cake for that was when we got told we're doing Madison Square Garden with Slayer. That's just, all the other venues, the Forum is just eye-opening. But to play Madison Square Garden and to do it with Ministry, Primus, and Slayer, that was just, something we'll never ever forget. So that was definitely very, very cool. We were all excited about it. I remember we were in Italy and we played with Slayer the night before. The next day we had a day off and we were at a water park in Italy, going down slides and everything. And that was the day that we announced it to the world. Hey, the tour announcement, Slayer, Primus, Ministry, and we were all in swimming and everything, and we were just in living in the moment for what it was, and it was just very special. Like you say with the COVID, it's just none of us knew how special that tour really, really was. Yeah, because it just stopped after that, man. So definitely amazing time. I fell out of a car during the tour. It was crazy. It was wild.
How did you fall out of a car?
It was fun. All right. Well, we were in a Hummer. So every day of tour, we had a GoPro and drone, and we had a drone. So we'd go fly around the venue every day. And this particular day, it was like a third day of tour. We were in the very front of the venue, me, Steve, and Blue, and we're flying around the drone. This guy pulls up in a Hummer, an Army Hummer, and he's like, hey, guys, y'all want to go for a ride in my Hummer? And us illegals just getting into all the illegal activity that we like to get ourselves into. We jumped on in, and we were like, let's film this. And even from the get-go, he told us there's no seatbelts. And I sat in front, and he was like, make sure you slam that door. So I did. I remember sitting down. We all got in. I remember hitting the door. I was like, all right, it's closed. Off we went. And I'm GoProing everything, just GoProing everything. And then he starts off-roading out of nowhere. And if you see the video that I had posted, you'll see exactly what I'm saying. We're just cruising, and then he starts to off-road. And then within a matter of a blink of an eye, he did like a really fast U-ey in the parking lot. And fortunately, there was an empty parking lot at that moment. And I literally got ejected right out of that passenger seat. And I flung about 15 feet away from the vehicle, rolling. And we stopped. And I'm almost in panic mode, like in shock, because I just fell out of a car and, at a really fast speed. And I got totally ejected. But I was all right. And I remember limping to our tour bus. And then 15, 20 minutes later, we had a meet and greet. And I had just fell out of a car, and now I'm at a meet and greet. And I'm holding my arm, and my leg is all sore. I'm like trying to shake hands. It was just like, it was so crazy. And then we played the show like a few hours later, and everybody was like, Mike, you fell out of a car and played with Slayer 4 hours later. How cool? They were like, that's the raddest, man. So it was definitely a lot of luck on my side that day. I was definitely not super injured, but it was something that we all talked about on that tour for a few days, man. Mike fell out of a car. It was just,
good.
It was crazy, but it was, we were glad everything went okay.
Nice. As we kind of start wrapping this up, man, I saw Flesh Hoarder, I guess, signed a new deal, new standard elite. To kind of tell us about what's the future of Flesh Hoarder.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm glad we're going to talk about this. Okay, so earlier in 2020, I should say now, we wrote and recorded our new album. It will be called Relic of Putrescent Filth. And it's going to be 10 tracks of just blistering, brutal death metal. And if you're a fan of our first album, this new one is definitely more focused, more evil, more darker. We're hitting some really, brutal notes. We're chugging along on this one. So we're really excited to put out the material. It's going to be out on a record label called New Standard Elite, and it's definitely an upcoming label in the underground death metal. Has a ton of good bands, and the guy Daniel that puts it all together is a great dude. Known him a really long time, and it's definitely a label that we've been wanting to work with in the death metal scene for the last few years. So to finally be on NSE, we are super excited about, and our new album will be out within, I would say, the first 4 months of this year. We're aiming at just sometime soon. So artwork's done. It's in the mastering process right now. So after it gets mastered, it's going to be off, and hopefully it'll be out real soon. But and then hopefully, if all goes well, we'll get to tour behind it and get a jam and get to play this album as far as we can get as well. So we're definitely looking forward to doing it. It's a brutal album, man.
Fantastic. Also, got to give you props for wearing a white Deicide shirt. I don't think I've ever seen a white Deicide shirt.
Yeah, I just got it a few months ago. Long sleeve Deicide. Yeah. I appreciate it, man. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I got sent to the in high school. I got sent to the principal's office for wearing my Deicide Trifixion shirt, and on the back it said "End of God, the way it must be." And so I got sent to the principal's office, and I actually stood up for myself and said, "If you send me home for this shirt, you have to send all of the Christians home for their, Jesus shirts." And the principal kind of stopped and just let me go.
Yeah, good for you, bro. Good for you.
You got to stand up for Glenn Benton and
quick,
family.
I remember my mom. Yes, that's good, man. I remember one time my mom found one of my anal blast, old anal
Nice.
blast. I had a bad anal blast shirt, and it was just, I don't even want to describe it, but I remember she found it one time in the laundry in high school, and she threw it straight in the trash. And now if you want to find that shirt, it's like $200 somewhere.
Right.
So, damn it, Mom.
When I was younger and I got my first job and I had to work Christmas Eve. So my family on my mom's side did Christmas early that day, and I showed up late. But I had asked for all these like Cannibal Corpse and obituary shirts for Christmas. And so I'm sitting there with me and my mom and my grandmother, who is a Southern Baptist Sunday school teacher. And I'm like pulling up, Tomb of the Mutilated shirt and just like these just disgusting shirts. And, my grandmother was a sport about it, but it was a great Christmas that year.
That's awesome. That's great. That's what you need right there. Is that moral support, man? Because it's just music and it's just art, and we're just into the music.
Well, I get to ask you this question. I ask everybody their favorite Pantera song on the way out. But I mean, what is your favorite one to play?
Oh, okay. Easy. It's not an easy question, but this is an easier one. My favorite song to play would definitely go to Yesterday, don't mean shit.
Nice.
I love playing that song. I get it started off right after Blue counts me off.
Yeah, give us a little bit of it there.
Song. I know you can't hear it. I love playing that one right there, though, man. The solo is ripping, and it's just an awesome song to play. Definitely a energy boost. Another one will be fucking Hostile, because I got to do some lyrics, some backup vocals with Philip and all. But Yesterday is definitely one of my favorites to play right now.
Well, Mike, man, I definitely appreciate you taking the time, dragging the waters with us, and I do have to say you have one of the best mustaches in metal. So thanks for taking the time with us today, man.
Yes, thank you so much, Josh. Look forward to seeing you somewhere out on the road, man. And if I'm ever in your area with the Illegals, with Fleshholder, hit me up. We'll get you hooked up.
Appreciate
Come hang out, and we'll eat some chicken wings, and we'll drink some rum and cokes. How's that sound, man?
That sounds perfect. All right, man.
Awesome, bro.
All right, man. I'll end it there, but appreciate your time, man. And I'm gonna go order some pizza, order some wings, and go watch my team hopefully make it past the Ravens.
Awesome, man. Just real quick, want to say thanks to you, and thanks for everybody for tuning in and keeping the Pantera legacy alive with my thing at. There we go. Keeping the Pantera legacy alive. I love it. I know Phil appreciates just stuff just like this, man. We're just trying to keep, the love alive, and Dimebag and Vinny, man, just trying to jam for you guys, man. So appreciate everybody out there. Support the Illegals, support some Fleshholder, support the Pantera shows, and we'll see you soon on the road, man.
All right, Mike. Take care, buddy.
All right, you have a good day, bro. Hope your Titans win, man. Take it easy.
See ya.
Hey, everybody. Chris Aiken from the CMS Podcast Network. And if you are a person that likes to watch our videos, whether it's Classic Metal Show, Talk to Me, Skull Sessions, or Aftershocks, do not do it on YouTube. Do you hear me? Do not do it on YouTube. Go to fupal.com, FVIEWPAL.com.